Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a wonderful new recording of miscellaneous music by Charles Ives, little bits of things, featuring the great Ivesian James Sinclair, who edits and publishes and sometimes invents, it seems to be, stuff that Ives didn't complete. This particular disc has got like 20 tracks. It's a lot of stuff on here. And some very interesting things. Ives was an amazing miniaturist, and actually some of his best stuff is miniature stuff because he makes his point and then he stops. You know what I mean? You don't want to belabor some of these things. But the disc begins with the 4 ragtime dances. I mean, Ives was one of the first serious composers. Well, I mean, depending on how you look at him, you can it depends on what your definition of serious is too, right? But he was seriously interested in ragtime. Yes, he was. So he wrote these 4 ragtime dances, which are full of typical Ivesian crunching dissonance and craziness and rhythmic experimentation, and they're just marvelous. So that's sort of the main work. It's 12 minutes long in 4 movements. Then we have the Fugue in 4 keys on the Shining Shore, a student work, more or less, or a late student work, and it's actually doesn't sound too 4-key-ish until later on in it anyway. It's been recorded before, and this is, I mean, the performances here are all first rate. We don't have to worry about that. Then you've got these little miniatures, which are based on his songs, some of them. The Pond, The Rainbow, an old song, Deranged. That's rather entertaining, isn't it? The skit for Danbury Fair. Well, that's fun. I mean, some of these things are world premieres. Like I said, they were either edited or reconstructed or, put in shape by Sinclair and his colleagues. I have a great deal of affection for Danbury Fair because I used to go to the Danbury Fair. My father grew up in Danbury. My grandfather had his auto parts store on Main Street in Danbury. When Ives was there, and I got kicked by a horse at the Danbury Fair. That's one of my more vivid memories of it. I was behind the horse, and the horse just went pow. And we have pictures from when I was a little kid where we could ride around on like camels or elephants at the Danbury Fair. And we took a camel ride, and I'm a little kid sitting on the camel after I got kicked by the horse. Really, it was one of the great state fairs that was still around. And now it's a shopping mall. Unfortunately, right off of Route 84 as you go from Connecticut into New York. I mean, it's really just a shame. The Danbury Fair is gone. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I had some happy childhood memories of going more than once. I didn't get kicked by the horse every time I went. It was really a wonderful part of my childhood. So I'm very sentimental about some of these things, having been sort of all around Ives. I've said this before, he went to my high school, Hopkins Grammar, and then he went to Yale. And so I went to Hopkins Grammar, and we used to do all this Ives stuff and whatnot. So there's that, the Danbury Fair, and then the Gong on the Hook and Ladder, which has been recorded many times, also known as Fireman's Parade on Main Street. And then this very strange, rather significant piece. It's only 6 minutes long, but, Glinka's Kamarinskaya is only 5 minutes long, and it's considered the foundation of all Russian music. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be long to be significant. Well, Webern told us that, too. The piece is called Chromaty Melode Tune. It is a chromatic melode tune with funny little accents over things, which makes it look like the Tarango Leela Symphony, actually. Although that was much, much later. Ives put all the accents there just to make the thing look more pretentious than it really was. But it's a fascinating study in chromaticism, dissonant harmony, melody, all that stuff. It's really worth listening to. And then we have Tone Roads numbers 1 and 3. Number 2 apparently doesn't exist, or if it did, it's lost. Those are also experimental pieces. Then the set of incomplete works and fragments, which is 6 minutes and 37 seconds of bits and pieces stitched together. And one of them I feel very strongly about. It's called Sunrise on East Rock, which I really love because I happen to live right next to East Rock. It's right over there, up the hill. If you're in East Haven, you sort of go up High Street and take a left, and you're at East Rock. New Haven has 2 rocks. There's West Rock and East Rock. And West Rock they both have parks on them, but West Rock has the Judge's Cave, where the four judges hid out with like the Constitution back in the days when America was at war with the those other people across the pond. And we used to go to West Rock Nature Center and all that stuff as a school trip all the time. But the reason we have East Rock and West Rock, in case you're wondering, in New Haven in Connecticut, is that apparently the entire land around them sank, and West and East Rock sort of either pushed up or were left standing, and there they are, these two escarpments. So anyway, I was very sentimental about that. And then we've got some marches. March number 2 with Son of a Gambolier. March number 3 on My Old Kentucky Home. The Circus Band March, and then some very interesting transcriptions. Schubert did them when he was, Schubert did them. Schubert is one of them. Ives did them when he was a student. And they are the March Militaire, Schubert's famous March Militaire in D major, da 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 ba ba dum ba da 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 dum ba da dum ba da dum, which has they're nice arrangements. They're somewhat Ivesy not because he throws in all kinds of dissonance and crap, but because of the simple alteration between strings and winds. And march music was something Ives really knew. He was very good at, obviously. And then we've got from Schumann's Carnival, the Vals Nobla, transcribed by Ives. And last but not least, Schubert's Impromptu number 1 in C minor, which is 11 minutes and 58 seconds. It's a major thing. Really a major thing. So this is really a fascinating disc of transcriptions and arrangements and versions and original works, and I love this stuff. I mean, I really do. I just think it's fascinating to listen to. Ives was such a questing soul, he was just curious and interested and completely open to just about everything. And this is a wonderful example of that. It's a great place to explore Ives if you're a little tentative to hear just a huge range of material, of every conceivable kind. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and do enjoy this disc. We owe Sinclair a lot. We really do. Take care.